All right. Hello, everyone. Here I am going live again. Unexpected, unprepared, and just ready to do some talking. So I've had a I've had an interesting time of late, and I've had a lot to think about. I've had time off I didn't want off. I've had no time off when I needed time off. That's just the way life goes. That's that's what life is. Life's unpredictable, and so here I am starting a little stream here, and I've had a lot to think about over a pretty short space of time. And so perhaps um, I'll take a moment to just say that I have a pretty close friend who's not doing so well, and I'm hoping his condition improves, but he's having a rough time. And I got a chance to go visit him again for the first time in a while in person, and we all get reminders of this every once in a while. Somebody will get really ill, someone important to us, someone our close friend, a family member, something like that. And it gives us a chance to think, oh, hey, Rochelle, thank you. Thank you. So I'm just going to say that life is something that goes by quick. And getting together with a couple of friends, another good friend of mine came, mutual friend is the person who's ill, who's been battling some difficulties for a long time. But I, I guess we're we're in our late 40s. I guess I think I'm about to turn 48 in a couple of months, so we're all about the same age. In fact, my friend is exactly 3 days younger than I am. Um, so sometimes it hits hard when you see someone your own age passing, and maybe as I get older, I'll be less struck by that. But I think it's something that that we think about. I know my mom used to say, um, the judge of whether or not somebody's old is how old your parents are. And I don't know if she still says that. I should ask her. She's still with me. My father, unfortunately, is gone. And when my father passed, it was a year ago this past January, so a little over a year now. Um, Gave me a lot to think about too. He suffered for a while, but thankfully not too long. And this is what happens in life. So rather than be super morose, I'm gonna switch gears and say that my friend has a lot of good friends. He has a wife that loves him. I feel terrible for what she's going through right now, but seeing the people you can count on, seeing the good people in your life, that's something pretty special. And when I come home and see that I have my beautiful, wonderful wife and my two kids and um, all the other great people in my life, I have some great friends in real life. I have some great friends that are online friends, and they're all good people. And the people that aren't such good people, fuck them. I don't give a shit about them. And I should probably stop paying them any mind whatsoever. But I also had a chance to think this morning twice. I had a chance to think about how we communicate with one another and what we communicate and what the intentionality is behind that. So I'm I got an email this morning from another person who I consider a friend, someone I work with in my advocacy work. And I really like and appreciate this person a lot. They're a tremendous advocate in patient advocacy, and they work in the industry. They've made their career out of it. Um, and I've had some tangential opportunities to talk to some online friends about really difficult things like addiction, mental health, suicide, other things like that. Maybe we're not supposed to talk about that on YouTube. I don't think they like it when we talk about that. But if you're suffering from mental health and you don't have good mental health right now, for whatever reason, please get some help. Please call whatever the local number is. I know I have people that I interact with from around the world, and I do not have a great set of mental health uh, information handy, and I don't even have a lot of great obesity information handy, nor do I have help for situations like the one my friend is in. And perhaps I should do that. So I will look into that. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk about how we can make things better, how we can make the world a better place. And for all of us, I think maybe the best thing we can do is pick up the phone, go visit a friend. If you can't see the friend, phone the friend. Grab a coffee or a tea with a friend. You don't have to have any kind of beverage. You can just have a chat and tell people what you're thinking. Share your thoughts, share your feelings. Go ahead and be an emotional person that has real thoughts and feelings. And reach out and explain yourself. And if you're met with people that aren't so supportive for whatever reason, fuck them. Move on to somebody else. If people are being mean, derogatory, terrible, they may need their own help. Hard to say. Hey, Jimmy, how are you doing? It's good to see you. It can be hard to put these things down because sometimes we just get embroiled in it. Sometimes we want to say something. And I spent I spent a little bit of time this morning. I think it was productive. I spent a little bit of time this morning commenting in somebody's stream where I felt like the language being used was um not necessarily wrong to put down the behavior of someone who's acting in an unkind way, but we got to be careful about what we put down when we do that. And should I have thicker skin? Maybe. I don't know how much thicker it can get. I've been called a lot of names. I've been treated terribly many times, and I've had to face the idea that as I improve my health, hopefully, and get surgery and continue to lose excess adipose tissue, that may change how I'm received in the world. Um, don't know how that will go. It's something. It's something that's talked about. People that have lost tremendous amounts of weight that I deal with. People on the other side of the surgery, for instance. I talk to those people, and they tell me it's different. They tell me they're treated differently. They tell me they have different kinds of interactions with people. And so that tells me that people are different when you're different, even though the person inside is the same. And I was struck by that when I went to visit my friend. He's he's having a rough time. He doesn't look like he used to look because of the disease he has. But it's still him. I recognize his voice. I recognize his laugh. And I'm glad he can still laugh a little bit. And I recognize his personality. It's all in there. It's a little different. But he's still him, even though he's pretty much on death's door. Hey trees, good to see you. And Rochelle, that I'm glad your partner was able to do that. So I've lost like 70-ish pounds on my own, but I've lost it over and over again. I've gained, I've lost, I've gained, I've lost. So maybe a good topic to talk about is because I've had to think about these things. So I got an email from my friend in advocacy, saying I should maybe attempt to apply for a position doing more advocacy. So I threw that in there. It made me think hard this morning about what's going on. And I'm off work today because I had to go get a scan for my kidney. Um, so by the time the scan was over, it was a little bit too late to start a full shift at work, and it's still been slow with winter. The weather's getting great. I think it'll start getting really busy really soon. Yesterday I only worked 10 hours, but still pretty good for a spring day. Moved 3 machines in 10 hours, and washed the trailer off when I got back, and just waited to see if another thing came in. And then they let me go. A 10-hour shift isn't too bad for this time of year. It's usually 12 or 14 though. Yeah, and Rochelle, yeah, I see that. I see what you're saying there. They would lose weight, gain it back. Yeah, so that's it's a common pattern. It's a common pattern. I have a chart. I have a chart I could go through. Um, it's a weird thing, right? Life comes with a lot of different challenges, and my challenge is that my metabolism isn't like everyone else's, but it's a very common situation I'm in. It's not something that you'll find people don't live with. So I advocate for people like myself, in large part because I had a terrible, terrible situation in the healthcare realm myself, and that led me to seek help. And after seeking help, I got even more help, and I got even more involved because um, I think due to my personality and my way of putting things, which isn't necessarily polite, but it is to the point. Um, After a lot of that, um, talking to people, I was invited to come and say what I have to say out loud to people, and you know, I'm I'm not an amazing orator or elocutionist, but I work on it. I work on trying to clearly speak and say my mind, and coming to YouTube and being a creator has been very good for me in that regard. My last stream that I did, I talked a little bit about because World Obesity Day was last week, and I talked about different treatments there are for dealing with obesity, and especially some of the medications. And they put a medical advice warning. And I do want to point out people should get professional medical advice if they're dealing with medical issues. And one of the issues I have is my head's disappearing because of this weird camera thing going on here. But so I came here to stream and say a few things. And recently, life's been throwing me a few curveballs. With my kidney, having a friend who's really not doing well and won't make it very far for much longer. And and then I've also had like some great things happen in my life where I've started to think about maybe going to school, learning a few things, making myself a more knowledgeable person. I'm not sure if I could increase my intelligence, but I certainly could increase my knowledge on a great many subjects. And yeah, so sometimes I meander all over the place with my conversations. And last time we went, you know, literally all over the damn place. I think we talked about obesity, talked about flat Earth, medical misinformation, and all sorts of bullshit. And today I want to talk about why we do what we do, why we're inspired to do things. So if you're inspired to do something, and you want to let me know about it, I want to talk about it. And if people are interested in coming in and talking, I'm gonna do a short stream, but if somebody wants to come in and be live, let me know. I'll put a link in the chat there, and people can just jump in. I could even just do that anyway, but I don't know if people are interested in that. I know there's like a really quick way to do that, right? I can just copy this, and then I can paste it here. Did that work? I think it did. All right, there you go. All right, so people want to join in. I'll let people in. We can have a chat. But I've been inspired to act by negative situations, but I've also been inspired by positive situations. And I think I was a little unsure about what I would be doing when I went last year. To the first time I ever went, not the first time I'd ever been to a conference, but the first time someone invited me to come say what I had to say at a conference, and the first time I'd done any work after COVID and stuff. We did a lot of stuff on Zoom calls and had lots of conversations where you're doing the old Brady Bunch thing, and you have like 8 or 12 people all talking, and people take turns. Being in person and talking about my experiences, I was inspired to keep doing more of it because I wasn't the only one doing it, other people were too. And understanding that everyone's lived experiences is different, um, but it needs to be considered when we try to do good things for people. We need to know, who are we doing it for? Who are we trying to help? Who are we trying to reach? And when I meet those people that are going through the same thing, and realize, in my case, I need to reach healthcare professionals first. I need to reach the rest of the world. The YouTube thing's about reaching the rest of the world. The work I do in advocacy for patients is pretty focused. It's focused on doctors, nurses, um, other health professionals, things that are related, dietitians, stuff like that. Hey, Trees, you're listening while you're driving. Yeah, I get that. And you know what? Hey, that's awesome. I love being outdoors too, Trees. Um, and yeah, I need to catch up on a couple of your knife videos. I know you've done. I've watched a few of them, but I know you've got even more. And I saw one I got to check out, that you broke a knife doing something. Be interesting to see what happened there. And yeah, it looks like you're inspired by looking after the wilderness. 25 acres of mostly wilderness. Hey, like, that's pretty cool. And a lot of us don't get to live outside as much anymore as we used to as people. As human people used to live there. Um, I've always enjoyed fishing, hunting, hiking, just being with nature, and I'm very lucky as a truck driver to be outside during daylight hours a lot. And when I'm moving equipment, there are days when I'm on the seat of my truck all day long and just kind of like going along, but I do see the world to some degree, and I really appreciate and do well with my time outside. I get physical activity every day. Climbing up and down big equipment, putting chains on, carrying that stuff. This equipment doesn't go inside places very often. There are some times when I'll bring something into a shop, but when it's dead or whatever, it happens. But mostly when I'm bringing stuff, it's being brought to an outdoor location from an outdoor location. So I do see, largely, I see outdoor things. And yesterday I was, right in the dirt. It rained like crazy. The weather this year has been very strange indeed. Very warm, very mild, very rainy. We had snow on the weekend. Sun's out again today. I'm literally considering getting on my motorcycle today and going for a little tour. If it warms up enough today that I feel like it's safe to ride my motorcycle and there won't be frozen patches here and there and ice, I'm probably going to get on it and go for a little, very short tour, just to get cobwebs out, maybe fill up the gas tank with fresh gas again and stuff like that. Because I love getting out on my bike and just, I'm inspired by that too. I'm inspired by riding my bike and just getting out there, and again, like, you're on the road, but the best times are on those backwoods roads, and seeing the trees, seeing the greenery, in the fall, seeing the colors. In the winter, things turn pretty white up here, but and the trees that aren't evergreens certainly look a little barren and dead, but they have their own aesthetic that isn't terrible. So I'm inspired by the people in my life, by the new people I've met, by the people that are willing to share their knowledge, their experiences. There's probably more than that. When I see the people that get together in our community here in the YouTube community, there's sometimes disagreements and sometimes, people spar a little bit. But I find mostly, um, and I'm sure I'm somewhat one-sided in this. Maybe I'm not looking at it carefully, but I do see that a lot of care and consideration for each other, and relatively few people that want to just throw a bunch of garbage at each other. And I find that inspiring too. When I realize that the vast majority of the people I interact with here are trying to make things better. I was watching, um, I think it was Stacy's mom show. I don't know if that's the name of their show. Um, I was either watching it on the weekend or yesterday, and I honestly can't remember. And somebody was, sort of being a bit of a troll in the chat and asking why anyone would give any time or consideration to what's going on, if they don't believe in God, say, right? Oh, Rachie, how are you doing? You're back again. It's good to see you. Yeah, you're inspired by people who are able to open up. Yeah, I I don't know if you mean like pickle jars or if you just mean like emotionally, mentally, all sorts of things. Um, but yeah, it's good to see you again. It's an interesting collection of folks that are here today. The Stacy's Mom podcast. That's it, Rochelle. Thank you for pointing that out. I don't know if I saw you there that day, but I've seen you in lots of chats recently. Um, but yeah, somebody's like, why, if you're an atheist, why would you give any consideration at all to what's said in the Bible if you just don't think it's real? And um, they had some good responses to that. I had a few choice words, and I realize I get my ire up when somebody's like dismissive of what people think, but I do think it's right that people who aren't religious also have a say. Um, and no matter what country they're in, no matter what's going on. And there are countries where not being the right religion is, grounds for death, or worse. That's something we could fight against. I want everybody to be able to practice their religion and do it without having anything um, in their way. They should be able to do it, but not to the point of affecting someone else's life, right? It shouldn't be the case that um, someone says, "Hey, I don't believe you should be able to not wear this kind of hat, or everyone should wear this kind of hat because this is what my religion says. I have this type of hat that I wear all day long, and everyone in my country should wear that kind of hat because that's what I believe. I grew up believing that that was what was to do. My mom and dad put that hat on my head. They wore it on their head. This is what we do, and now I want everyone else to wear this hat. That's that's not what I want to see. But if you want to wear that hat, I want you to wear it all day long. I want you to be proud of it, and I want you to take what you can from your religion, from the teachings. Hopefully, they're good ones. Hopefully, they're ones of kindness and acceptance. Um, but yeah, I found it interesting. If someone wondered why anyone would care about what's in their Bible in the USA, my neighbors to the south, they've been some people working really hard to make the Bible the way they run their country, like not a secular country at all. They don't want to be one. Some people there. Um, Sometimes you have to explain to people who want their religion to be in charge that if you put one religion in charge and your religion slips from the top one, you may be living under the rule of another one that you don't like so much. Might be better to not live under the rule of any and choose the one that you like. And oh, Rachel, you think it's funny that I said opening up pickle jars? I'm very good at opening pickle jars, or any other jar for that matter. I'm uh, I'm blessed in a way. Um, Perhaps not by God. Maybe that's a bad term to use, but I have very very large, strong hands, and I have good leverage to open up jars that have stuck lids. But might be the only talent I really have. It certainly isn't singing, but maybe my other talent is writing terrible lyrics about terrible people who I should probably just let be terrible people and not bother with them. But I do get my ire up about some people and they're wanting to control and ruin some people's lives. So anyway, I'm on a bit of a tangent, but that's pretty much where I am all the time. Everywhere you go on around Earth, I guess it's a tangent of sorts. So maybe that's just something we're stuck with. Hopefully, Rachel likes that joke. Um, so yeah, opening up about any issue is it's a tough thing to do. That was one of the things that I realized when I went to speak for the first time out loud to to a room of people instead of just talking to people in small groups and um, that sort of thing. It can be a bit nerve wracking in a way, but I find it really really helpful to my mental state to share what's difficult. And as I said, I am inspired by other people who are willing to do that, to take a stand, to change what's wrong and make it right. And going to visit my friend, um, I won't get into his situation too much. It's a private situation of his, but just seeing the state the hospital's in, it's an old, really old hospital. It's been rebuilt in some areas, not in others. The rooms are really small. There's not the infrastructure there is in a disarray, but they have older rooms. The building. I don't know how old it is. Probably 100 years old. The part of the building he's in, but I don't know that for certain. I'm sure the rooms have been renovated since then, but we're talking about a hospital that was probably built in the 1920s or 30s. I'm not 100% sure. So the building's a much older section. There are some brand new sections of the hospital that are great, and things are in a bit of a disarray. There's construction going on everywhere, but despite all that, all of the people working there were doing a damn fine job, working really really hard. The nurses and the doctors that were coming in to see patients had amazingly great outlooks, amazingly great personalities. And the one nurse that came in at a shift change came in to check on my friend, and she was singing, telling jokes, just great, a great personality to have in this really difficult situation. And you could tell the other person in the room, who I didn't spend any time bothering, but I could tell they too were suffering greatly with an ailment that required their hospitalization. And a lot of people there, people out in the hallway, are having chats. People are dealing with some really really heavy issues, right? Well, thank you, Rachie, for saying you're sure I have many talents. You find it difficult to open up, and others who open up help many. Yeah, no, that's right. That's right, Rachie. That's a really good point. That we can be inspired by someone else's inspiring act, right? When somebody's willing to come and tell us their story, right? And the story that I told um, when I did my first speech, and I'll tell it again here. I think I've told it too many times, but I'll tell it again here because I think the group of people here maybe haven't heard it. But in 2018, I found out I had a really big kidney stone. And my doctor looked at the scan of it and said, "Hey, you got to go to the hospital. Like this stone is big. It's in a bad spot. like, we're worried you'll go into kidney failure. I have one kidney. I was born that way. I've told people that many times. So in 2018, I went and they had me see the local urologist, just the one that was there. I'd never dealt with them before. Um, but they sent me to the hospital. The hospital's like, they looked at everything. They looked at the note from my doctor's like, okay, we're just admitting you. We're gonna do a surgical type procedure to get rid of it. That was the decision they made. I don't think the urologist was happy with that. I think he thought it was a bad decision. I think he thought it wasn't an emergency. I think he thought my doctor made a bad call. He seemed to have a bit of a chip on his shoulder about that. But I remember really well that, as I was prepping for the surgery, they decided I should be under general anesthetic. There was a lot of conversation about that. And when you're under general anesthetic and you're a guy my size, there's a lot of concerns about, different things that could happen with your heart, your lungs, etc. And I just remember the urologist coming out to talk to me and talk to the anesthesiologist, and my wife and my mother were there. And I just remember him saying to my wife and my mother after this conversation, which is really just sort of a matter of fact conversation when I've had other times when I've had to look at getting anesthesia of whatever type. I remember the urologist just saying, not to me, he didn't talk to me, he talked to my wife and my mother and just said, you got to get him to lose weight because just look at him. And that hit me really hard. It hit me hard then. Never really left my mind since then. A short time after that, I was being put under anesthetic, and they were doing a procedure to try and deal with this stone and get it out of me. They did a bunch of stuff. It didn't go very well after that. I ended up in kidney failure a short time later, which I won't go into in great detail here. I think that's pretty much water under the bridge. I just had a similar, but not the same procedure again. A little bit more planned out, a little more thought out. And with my new urologist, when I went and talked to him, I said, "Hey, the last time I had to go see a urologist about this kind of thing, I was not treated really well because like that wasn't the only thing that sucked about dealing with this guy. That was just something specific words that stuck out in my head, but I didn't enjoy that at all. And the things that went wrong after that, the way I was treated, the way the hospitals were going through all of that. The infrastructure wasn't great everywhere else, but in the hospital I had the original procedure in was a brand new hospital with great facilities, really nice food court and stuff. But there was a people problem, and it's the people you deal with that matter. It's nice to have new stuff. It's nice to have a new infrastructure. It's nice to have a great room to do stuff in. That's a great idea. We should upgrade and make things better. But we shouldn't forget about the people. We should never forget about the people. Where they work, how they work, what it's like to work there. The major fucking thing when you get down to this, right? This is what we got to think about. Who's helping us when we're in need? How do they feel? How do they act towards us? So I was inspired to try and change that. I was because not only did I go through that experience where this guy just said that I should lose weight, I had to go see another doctor because in checking out things with my kidney, they also decided they should check out my heart and my lungs. And my cardiologist looked at me and he said, "Hey, I think we should help you lose weight." And he looked at where I was at, and he didn't say, "Hey, go lose weight." He helped me find a way to lose weight. He helped me get signed up for bariatric surgery the first time around. That ended up going kind of shitty too. The first, like, I'll be doing it hopefully in about a year, and I've been going through the paperwork for that. I've been filling in this stuff. But the thing is, when you take a minute to sit down and think about what's important in life, having good health is really important. And so instead of telling someone to just go out and be healthy, um, if you take a minute and say, "Hey, I'm a doctor. I know what the fuck I'm doing." This doctor saw a problem that he shared his opinion with my urologist. My cardiologist is like, "Yeah, this guy this guy really would be a lot healthier if he could lose excess adipose tissue, and I'm gonna help him do that. And my urologist is just like, well, if he tells my wife and my mother, like they'll just somehow magically like cut it off me or something. That doesn't really make sense, does it? And this comes back around to something I started talking about. So I started talking about mental health because mental health is super fucking important. And I've had good mental health and bad mental health, and it's pretty decent right now. But in seeing other people struggle with it so many times in my life, including having a very good friend who struggled with it to the point of losing his life, I want people to remember that your head's attached to your body. I know it looks like my head's kind of cut off by this weird thing over here, and I got Tank Girl behind me there, um, looking very reflective in her reflective bathing suit there, but it's kind of messing up my head. I don't know. I shouldn't have done this background maybe, but I know I love this picture of Tank Girl at the railway crossing with the beach on fire. Um, yeah, Rachel, I agree with what you're saying there. I'm gonna address that in just a second. I was gonna say my friend, my other friend, and particularly hits me for a number of reasons because I have some other friends who and acquaintances who've been talking about their mental health recently, and it's super important to just get really good mental health care. Um, but when I went through getting bariatric surgery the first time around, they basically told me they couldn't help me because my mental health was not perfect, and they didn't have any way to help me. They said that I should go and get some coaching, which I couldn't afford. It was private coaching. I looked into it. I called and I got quotes on it and stuff. It was going to be thousands of dollars, and so I it led me to advocating, you know, trying to make things better. And what I realized is, and if you look at Tank Girl, she's an AI Tank Girl. It's not the real Tank Girl by the original person, but I just she's a character I really like because she digs in hard and fights hard, and you know, it's a representation of her in AI. But if you look at the AI knows that the human body has a head connected to the body by a neck. And if you look just above my head, you'll see she has a neck. And even though it's an AI image and it isn't really necessarily a reasonable representation of a person, she's kind of holding a gun or whatever. I don't know, it's a weird picture. But AI art's tricky. But yeah, there she is. And I think if we did have the real Tank Girl or any live human being, we'd find that the vast majority of human beings who are alive and well have a neck connecting their head and their body. It's very, very difficult to live a great life if your head and your body are not connected. So we got to stop treating mental health like it's some special thing that should be swept under the rug, forgotten about, or ignored. And Rachie, this is right. So I know Rachie, you said you're in England. So I'm putting this up here. It's terrible. Sorry to hear that. Should have compassionate people in those kinds of careers. Both physical and mental health is important, definitely. And yeah, it is. And I appreciate you saying that. And I know in England, um, healthcare is a different thing than it is here. It's different too than it is in the U.S., where a lot of people that I interact with are Americans and they live in the U.S. and U.S. healthcare is kind of a special thing because in the U.S. healthcare is a capitalist run business. And in Canada, it's kind of an odd thing because it's paid for out of taxation. And I'm not sure in the UK, I think it's called the NHS, and that's run with taxation to a point as well. But I think there's maybe some other levels of it. But what they've decided is certain things are not covered by um by tax paid healthcare, tax funded healthcare in Canada, and I don't know if the NHS is similar. And I can't remember where everyone else is from. I'm pretty sure Trees is from somewhere in the States. And Rochelle, I don't remember. And Jimmy, I know, is in the States somewhere. But I think I've lost some viewers because I'm not doing a very good show. Somebody else is doing a better show. It's hard to know. Um, but that's okay. I do this as much for myself as I do for anyone else because it gives me a chance to say what I'm thinking. It gives me a chance to try saying my thoughts out loud and see how fucked up they are. Hopefully they're not too bad, but I've made a lot of missteps in my life. I've fucked stuff up. I've not thought stuff through clearly. I've not made the best choices at certain points in my life, and then at other points I've made great ones. And at the end of the day, I've made it here. Well, it's not the end of the day. It's like midday. It's like I don't know. They did this fucked up thing with the clocks again. I wish they'd stop doing that. But I won't do a stream about daylight saving time. Daylight saving time is just fucked though. So here's what I have to say. Is I'm gonna close my show out shortly here. I've been doing this for 40 minutes, so I think I'll go to maybe 45 minutes. So it's 5 more minutes, and I want to thank everybody that comes by to watch, and certainly lick and describe. And we'll find out what you were eating the last time you played with your phone. Um, no, I appreciate the people come and watch, and the people have any interest in what I have to say because I'm just a truck driver. I haul equipment around, and I enjoy doing that. And my first day back in a couple of days was yesterday, and I felt sore at the end of the day. I felt it, which lets me know my body suffers when I'm not moving as much. So I'm gonna try to keep moving more. I'm gonna say this. This is important for me to get out, and that is that if anybody in your life is needing your help, or you just wish you'd talk to somebody a few more times before you lost them before, and there's someone else in your life you want to talk to, go ahead and talk to them. Have a conversation. Spend some time with someone you enjoy. If you haven't got anybody in your life, spend some time here. Spend some time talking to people in the chats here at YouTube. There's a lot of great people. There's a few nimrods out there and a few people that just want to take the piss out of people and people that are just, they're contrarians for the sake of being contrarians. I get that. I throw out some pissy comments here and there too myself, and I shouldn't. I've gotta learn to be a nicer person. I've gotta I gotta learn to stop making fun of people. I will say, Rachie, you're calling out a Flatzoid was fucking hilarious. I don't know if Flatzoid's a good person. It's hard to say. Like he doesn't come across as a super genuinely nice person. Um, he's definitely confused about something. It's hard when you see guys like that. That you're not sure. Is it all grift? Is it all mental deficiency? Are they stupid? um, there's always someone. Um, Rochelle, I don't know what you mean by that. There's always somebody you want to talk to, or there's always someone being a something. Because like some people just are, right? Like some people just have to. They have to troll. They have to say something nasty, and you know what is that? And should we deride someone for doing that? Like they might have a reason, right? Like there might be something going on with that person. Maybe we need to give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt, a little bit of consideration. I had a conversation with my daughter about that the other day because she was dealing with someone that she thought was a little odd, and then she mentioned to me she thought that person might have some personal things going on in their life that were making them, maybe a little like on edge about stuff. I said, yeah, you got to remember that when you meet somebody, you don't know what they're going through, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, and so Rochelle says there's always someone doing weird, disturbing, crazy crap. Yeah, no, absolutely. That happens. Um, and then here's Rachie. It's a bit flat. So he used to be a good person. Things changed the way he behaved in certain situations. I think he's still a good person offline. He probably is. And like I don't know if Flatsoid has a job. Like I don't know if he does something else to earn a living. I know I've heard people say he has kids. I don't want to worry about his kids or make comments about them, but I do, I hope he makes a living where he can afford, food, shelter, all that stuff. I know he lives in South Africa, I'm pretty sure. And I know they've had a lot of power outages and stuff there. I have another friend, completely unrelated to that realm that lives in South Africa, and they've talked about it too. And then here's Rochelle saying the guy that stripped naked on the Alaska flight. Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of get it. Like I've been starting out my days wearing like a sweater, wearing like a long sleeve shirt, sometimes putting a parka on when it's snowing in the morning. And then, by afternoon, it's like plus 10 degrees Celsius. And I'm like, I'm going down to a t shirt. So, I don't know what's going on in Alaska, but it's usually a little warmer on the West Coast. So, maybe it got really hot on the plane. I really don't know. I think, you know, it's not necessarily a big deal if we lived in a different society, but in our society, like, we keep certain things covered up. So, I think you at least got to keep your underwear on a a public flight. But there I'm sure, there's a market for everything. I'm sure there's probably like nudist flights around the world if you want to take them. But I'm not familiar with any. I haven't looked into it. It probably exists. But you don't want to impromptu just start one on your own. It's I'm assuming this person had a problem. Um, and you can, there might have been a good reason, right? Like, I mean, maybe this person like tripped and fell face first into a bowl of spiders, you know, and they might have arachnophobia, and you know, it's hard to say. I don't know. I haven't looked into this because I didn't hear this story. I'm going just by what Rochelle said here. But I appreciate you sharing it. Um, yeah, funny shit happens, right? So, unless anybody wants to talk about anything else, I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to thank people for coming by. I appreciate it. Um, if you don't already subscribe to Rachie, check out what she's doing. Rochelle, I can't remember if you do content or not, but I know I see you doing great mod work over at the line. I think. I hope I'm not screwing that up. Um, and So I'll plug the line because I mean I don't know if they need a plug because I think people know about them, but they do a lot of great conversations. The cookies on the airlines will make you do crazy. Yeah, I Rochelle, I haven't flown for a few months, but the last time I flew, I don't even know if I had a cookie. I don't know if I ate any food on the flight. Um, no content, not patient enough to make. See, I'm not patient enough to make videos either, but I just do it. They end up being like not great. Like my content is not well produced. It's just kind of me going off. The live streams I like doing. Like I kind of did this one impromptu. I didn't know whether I'd be working today. I knew I had to go to the hospital, get scanned this morning. I called in. I said, "Hey, do you guys want me to come in?" They're like, "No, it's too quiet. We got stuff for you tomorrow. Enjoy the day." So I'm getting some laundry done. I'm getting all sorts of stuff done. And like I said, I might go for a little motorcycle ride. I think I should. Um, oh, Rachel, you're inspired by people who make inspirational, positive content. You know what? I think you could probably do some of each, right? Sardine packed flight to Phoenix. I know a song about Phoenix. It's like a Glenn Campbell thing. So I'm not a good singer, so I shouldn't try to sing it. But I sing my own songs that I write, and to critical disdain, if there is such a thing. By the time I get to Phoenix, she'll be rising. Yeah, Phoenix is a big hub. I don't know if I've been there. I will be careful, Rachie. Yeah, I love getting out on my bike and just going for a little cruise. I think I might just get the cobwebs out and throw some gas in it. Um, I'm kind of excited about doing a little bit of that, and it's I don't know what the temperature is. That's what I got to check. 'Cause if it's frosty and I think I'll hit like icy areas, then I won't do it because my bike ain't meant for that. I have a cruiser bike now. Oh yeah, Glenn Campbell. Yeah, Wichita Lineman. He did that one too. Glenn Campbell was an amazing singer. Um, and his daughter's a banjo player and singer too, apparently. Um, APC, good to see you. You're here just in time to see me like sign off here, but I've been signing off for like 10 minutes, so it's not that I like a long goodbye. It's just like I ramble. I'm a rambling man. I don't know who originally saying that. I know I know Merle Haggard sang that one a bit, but I think so did other people. Did Waylon Jennings sing that too? I don't remember. And yeah, there's Rochelle. Rochelle's name reminds me of Rochelle, which I think was like a weird movie in the '90s or something. They made a lot of funny in the '90s. There was like a big group of what do you call them? What do you call those fucking things? Like artsy movies. I remember seeing a bunch of them. Some of them are great. Some of them are just really weird. And every time I think of like these like sort of like really arty movies that are supposed to be like these great pieces, I remember that like I had friends who when I was working in construction because I went straight into construction out of high school. Um, Working with my dad. In fact, I started while I was still in high school. And I don't know about artsy fartsy. Like not all of them involve farting. Although I'm sure somebody has made, like, an arty movie that's just, like, somebody's butt in, like, corduroy jeans, like, just farting. Like, I would be surprised if that isn't just a movie where they just have so like, really badly lit, like, just all you can do is you could tell somebody's butt is there and just fart noises, and that would be an artsy fartsy movie. Um, I think if you got more explicit than that, it would probably, like, slip into, like, a different genre of movie, and I don't care what people make for movies. That's good. Mirror Mask comes to mind. Neil Gaiman. Yeah, Neil. I think I haven't gotten into Neil Gaiman a lot, but everybody seems to like that. One that comes to mind is David Cronenberg did this movie called Crash. Um, when I was in high school, my writing was described as like David Cronenberg on acid, which I'm assuming is a compliment, but it's hard to say. I did enjoy writing. Um, And I'll probably do some more again at some point. American Gods. Yes, that totally rings a bell. I gotta play some of these things. One of the weird movies I saw was called Il Castrato, which was an Italian movie, with subtitles all about, a young boy who was castrated so he could sing in the opera. Um, My Dinner with Andre in 1981. Yeah, 1981, if you saw it in '81, I'm assuming it wasn't from the '90s, but, yeah, I bet that was a cool movie. I also remember seeing, oh, there was a lot of weird movies that I saw. There was one called Running with Scissors. I don't know what year it was from. It was a really, really weird movie of people with some disturbed mental ideas. Um, Definitely worth a watch if you're into, like, going on a trip, um, into, mental instability. Um, there's one called Slacker I saw, a long time ago. It opens up with, like, a really weird scene. I also remember a movie that was and I don't maybe it was the same I don't think it was the same movie. There was a movie about these people that opened up a restaurant that only served breakfast cereal. So, like, you just order, like, a bowl of Lucky Charms, and they brought you a bowl of Lucky Charms and milk. Um, it seems odd to pay somebody to serve you that because cereal seems like the kind of thing that you put no prep work into and just eat, but hey, what the fuck do I know? So, yeah, that's, those are a couple that come to mind, but I've really enjoyed certain movies that are weird, but, um, the 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 movie Strachey, it was based on the biography of Lyndon Strachey, which was by Michael Holroyd, who did the biography of Lytton Strachey, and Lytton Strachey was a biographer and wrote Eminent Victorians, and he also wrote the biography of Queen Victoria, I believe. Lytton Strachey was a very, very interesting author, but also lived an interesting life. Um, Old Alfred Hitchcock movies are still strange, but good but strange. Yes, yeah, I think that's right, Rochelle. There's definitely something about Hitchcock, movies, and I was they're they're kind of pop culture, but pop, but like mainstream weird. uh, stuff like Quentin Tarantino style movies, the ones he actually did, and then the ones that my friends and I called Quintino-esque, which is a term I think we coined. I can't remember if I did or one of my friends did, but um, our sort of original coming of age in high school really intersected well with Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. And we also really liked listening to the soundtracks from those movies. They had some really great music in those movies. A lot of it from the 70s. And oh, you know what else? Like Pam Grier did that movie, Jackie Brown, right? That was a great movie. Oh yeah, and the old yeah, Clockwork Orange, Fahrenheit 451. I believe I saw that. THX 1138, Silent Running. Yeah, yeah, those are all great movies. Like that kind of stuff. Just you guys got to sit down and watch it. I've been rewatching the whole Alien series. And I have my Ripley shirt on today. I should show off. See, Ripley. I show it off every time I wear it and I'm streaming. I just kind of put it on as like to wear a shirt that wasn't my work uniform to go get my scan, and then I threw a couple of uniform shirts in my back seat so that if they called me into work, I was ready to go. And didn't end up needing them, so I just left them in there. I can wear them tomorrow. So yeah. Oh, you just gave me a thumbs up. I just realized the thumbs up is a different icon on StreamYard here. I don't know why StreamYard went with this duck thing. It's kind of an odd icon, but and I don't have enough excess money to invest in streaming. I bought this microphone, which hopefully sounds all right. Not really 100% sure if it's a good one or not, but it seems to do all right. I haven't heard too many complaints. And it's chrome, so it works perfectly for a trucker. Everything a trucker owns should be chromed. Um, so yeah, yeah, tank girl, my tank girl, I thing. Yeah, I asked her to have a chrome bathing suit, and she does. It took me a long time to get an actual chrome bathing suit, and a lot of other things about the imagery are kind of messed up, but I finally got it to make it chrome, so I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll just stick with it. Um, AI art is so weird because you have to figure out what prompt is going to get you what you want. And getting a perfect image out of AI is really, really tricky. Ducks like streams. Ah, very good. Good thinking. Rachel's explaining everything, and I'm glad the mic sounds good. I'm interestingly, I've mentioned this before, but interestingly, I've had many people in the real world like say to me when they hear my voice that your voice is great and should be on radio or something. But I think my voice sounds kind of gravelly today, but I don't know. That might be because I'm talking too much. But yeah, nobody that's heard me talk on YouTube agrees. So maybe I only sound good on the radio when I'm not on the radio. It's hard to say. But I also thought maybe I should take lessons, like voice lessons of some sort, so that I could learn how to use whatever it is people think I've got. Hard to say. I'll find out one day, maybe. All right. Well, I've managed to say goodbye for nearly 15 straight fucking minutes here. This is pretty good. Um, the next time I stream, I have no idea when it'll be, but I did want to point out to anybody that cares about this sort of thing is that I did get over 69 subscribers. I'm at 70 something now. I forget where I'm actually at, but I'm at 70 something. And I said once I got to 69, I would do a 69 stream because it's just, you know, kind of just a silly thing that people get excited about because 69 is apparently a sexual reference. Um, and I don't know. Maybe I'll do the stream all about people that want to talk about um all the great times they've had watching my show, which probably aren't that many times. But yeah, I'm gonna do some I'm gonna do that. Yes, long goodbyes are always the best. Yes. Rachie, this is what I do like in real life at a party too. Like my wife will be like, thankfully we have children because if we didn't have the children as we used to be able to squeeze out of places because if we're at a place where I have to talk to people and I know a lot of people, it will take me an hour to work my way to the door. even though I'm kind of an introvert and don't like talking to people, when I get out there, I fucking start talking, and I have to say goodbye to like 9 people in 10 to 15-minute long things, and I end up in another conversation that lasts an hour, and my wife is just like, "What the hell is going on here?" She got a tie rope around me and dragged me out the door. Oh, speak of the devil. All right. Oh, my wife just sent me a message. She's got the kids out at fun activity today because it's March break here. Um, hey, Sumami, good to see you. Glad you're here. And you Watt. Did you want us to talk about watts, like as in the energy measurement? I remember that. So there's volts, there's joules, there's watts, there's amperes. I don't know. There's all these things that go with electric stuff. Watts is energy. I can't remember what watts is a measurement of, but I think watts works out its way up to joules. But I have to look it up because I'm not a physicist. I'm not Dr. Tap. Dr. Tap would tell me what I'm getting wrong about this. And thank you, Rochelle, for that. So I guess if anybody wants to join me on my 69 sub special, which I haven't scheduled yet, a couple of people have said they will join. And if any of you want to join, I'll try to like advertise it ahead of time and plan it out. And then and I'll do like a poll in my advertising post about whether people actually want to talk about 69ing or whether people want to talk about a completely different topic. Because I don't think I've had enough conversations with people about whether or not 69 is actually a good thing. But I have heard two major camps on it. One is that it's too much going on all at once. Like trying to make one person feel good while they're trying to make you feel good. And then people are like, there's nothing better than trying to make someone feel good while they're making you feel good. So maybe we could get a few opinions on that. I don't know. So I'll try to put something together and I'll figure out when I can do the 69 sub special and whether or not 69ing should be part of it, or maybe there's another 69 that we should talk about. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't usually get into like a tremendous amount of sexual content on my streams, but yeah, why not? Why not get into it? It could work, right? Um, I'm sure other people do well with it. Sex sells, and I'm not actually asking anybody for money or anything, but if I am going to sell something, I might as well sell sex, right? Um, I got like sexy tank girl in a chrome bikini here. Like, I think there's something to that, right? Although my head's blocking it, all the good stuff. Um, so thank you everyone for coming. Sumami, I hope you didn't miss like all the good stuff. Um, and PC. I don't know if you guys came late or we're just lurking for a bit, but the next time I stream will be in an indeterminate time from now. It'll be soon. I haven't written a new song in a little bit, but I've had a couple of ideas, and please go turn the sound off and listen to my songs and just give them a check mark. There's no need to be abused by my terrible singing voice, um, but you can help the algorithms. So I think that's it. I will sign off here. I want to thank everybody for dropping in. I appreciate the support, appreciate the conversations, and uh, next time will be another surprise. So thank you to all. Have a lovely afternoon, evening, morning, whatever. Yes, I am the heavy hauler and the lyrical baller. I also at some point I'm gonna have to somehow record my lyrical gangster lyrics. Uh, Instead of lyrical gangster, I'm a satirical gangster. That's my thing, writing satirical songs. So I wrote some words and I'll have to put them together. Anyway, that's where I'll end it. I will maybe record that one, but I just don't have what it takes today. And I'll try to write another song. If you comment, oh, hey Nara, good to see you. Thanks for popping in to say hello. I'm saying goodbye, so you popped in at the perfect time to say hello. Um, and yeah, Nara, I've been watching some of your shorts recently. A lot of them are really funny. If you don't know Nara, and I'm sure everyone knows Nara, But, Nara's got some great content, and the Nun shorts are pretty good. I like those, they're fun. Um, so yeah, I'm just about to turn this off. I've been saying goodbye for 20 damn minutes now. Um, but yeah, I'll try to get some of that together. If you don't know Nara, check out Nara. And Nara, if you don't know any of the people in the chat, just I don't even if they don't make content, subscribe to them and watch what they don't make. It'd be a lot of fun. Rachel makes content. PC, do you make content? I think you make content. I know I've seen content from PC. I don't think it's like a huge playlist, but maybe I'm wrong. I gotta go check and see if PC's made more content. I'm gonna get onto that eventually. All right, everybody, have a great time with the rest of whatever day you're living in. Thank you.